It's January 28th, 2023. I'm sitting here and I'm watching, I'm doing the review because I was out with Lewis and my son today, and I'm watching over the Pink Panther and Popeye cartoon, the Tune In With Me from today. And there's an interesting version of the inspector. And in this inspector, it has Defense de Fumée. I'm like, the defense of smoke? And then it says on a building, and I'm like, now it says Nicole, my name, and then it has Pascal. And so I'm like, Pascal. And I'm like, Nispakal. Like, do not call. Because then on the other side it says my RNA. And I'm like DNA RNA? Like the mitochondria of the powerhouse of the cell? Or I'm like, or are we talking blase? Like Pascal Blase? Like somewhere between the atmosphere, I mean, like in a calculation. And I'm like, oh, this poses so many interesting. So I'm just going to document it for myself because I have no idea where the message. I mean, I can see it says Mirish Film Inc. presents. And then it says these things inside of this inspector. And I'm like, because then it says in 1970s, it was Pascal Blase who has something. I have to do more research, but it's some programming language, which I have never even heard about. But again, it has some calculation on their thing about atmosphere. So I'm just mulling that over. But it came through on this today. And it says Toulouse-Lautrec. Toulouse. So is that like Toulouse? Now, interestingly enough, when I was in elementary school, first non-Gunder sleepover I ever went to, first invitation. She knows probably who she is. They said something at that sleepover. They were very excited, and they said that I was a witch, and I did not know what that meant. I said, what does that mean to you? I said, I've never heard that reference before. But the girls at that sleepover knew what it meant, and they were very excited about it, but they didn't want to talk about it. So I'm like, I don't understand what it means, though.
The notorious desperado Toulouse-les-Mousses had escaped to Cherbourg after jumping bail. There he had been apprehended, and I was sent to return him to Paris. Company, halt! You Cherbourg police are dismissed. I will take over from here. All right, hold out your hand. I will put these pretty little bracelets on to keep from losing it. There. And to make sure, I will throw away the key. Now, you ugly brute, it's time to catch the Paris Express. March. Resisting an officer, eh? Now you have played right into my hands, eh? I was secretly hoping you would put up a struggle, so I could rough you up a bit. This sorority is not used to taking foolishness from low criminals like you. When I say March, I don't mean April, I don't mean June, I mean March. March. You are trying my patience, monsieur. Put your hands up. Put them down. Down, please. Imbecile, you have fractured my police pistol. If you think we're going to miss that train, just think again, monsieur. You're going, even if I have to pay baggage rates on you. Now, March. Needless to say, I did not check him as baggage because I would have.
Now, this is where it says on the building, Nicole, Pascal, and it says my and RNA. Je ne sais pas, non so. The only RNA I know about is DNA RNA and mitochondria. But that's a medical term.
I in the baggage car with him. Now, my pretty one, I would like to see you make just one false move.
Oh, and here, it says Défense de Fumer. So again, in the Fumer, there was a interesting, I believe it was a breakthrough phone call from the Department of Dad. Once today on the radio, on the way home, we were listening, and the American radio, the New York radio waves, they were talking about surveillance. Some gentleman by the name of, I think they referenced him as Jim Dolan, with a Madison Square Garden, and then some facial recognition stuff, software, whatever, not wanting to let certain people in his building. And then they were talking about the city surveillance. But now in 1990s, before they had the easy to explain surveillance, with the new high-tech Silicon Valley children of I don't know what foreign nation they all belong to, there was some dealings in New York, and something happened to me. And when I went to call my father, there was this talk of I was on a bridge, but I was able to get back off because I didn't know how I had gotten there. And there was talk of a high and a low, and I was confused. And whoever was at Department of Dad was trying to explain to me that he thought that I was high, and I did not know what that meant. I'm like, no, I'm most assuredly on the lower section. I'm no longer high on the bridge. And that got confusing. So that happened. So I don't know if that's one of the disappearance events, because stuff happens in the city. And when somebody comes after you with anesthetizing whatever, and then you wake up in a situation where you're like, it's like being an animal. The only way I can explain it from someone who's been hunted in the city for doesn't know what reason is it's like being an innocent animal on a game preserve and having some hunter or poacher come after you for you don't know what reason, dart you, and then you wake up and you're not always the same, like, working machine and sharp mechanics that you were before you last lost touch with consciousness. I've lived in New York City for a long time, and it's happened more than once, is all I have to say. And that's how frightening it has been to be here. Never knowing when it's going to happen, never knowing why. But apparently, this one time in 1995, 96, when I was trying to get back home, and then whatever it is that I'm darted with, it's like a phase memory. It's like aphasia. It just, and then I have trouble connecting with that it actually happened again, which is just a really convenient, since these people and these problems just disappear like as if they don't happen. I know, like, departments of dads somewhere know it's on file, but I don't know, like, how, again, there's special surveillance when you're special bloodline and you have a special family member who's announced himself in your youth. So I'm not really sure where the disconnect is in. I get it when special services at Wizardry calls or breaks into the phone call and is trying to explain to me as the innocent daughter that I've been hurt again, but I'm in this, like, weird, confused state. I click in right away. I'm like, yeah, no, okay, so now what do I do? Pull over and wait for help? I mean,
Just one false move. He made a false move, but I did not get a chance to see it. My prisoner was not only escaping from the law, but with the law, which of course was very embarrassing to me. This has gone far enough. I command you to halt in the name of the law. You fool, you idiot. Can't you be more careful with me? Watch out, the wall! This case was beginning to have a lot of loose ends, and I was one of them.
that's what it feels like living in New York, with somebody's got a big security job to do. And then it's just like somehow something happens, someone else knows about it, but for some reason, like, I'm just supposed to figure out some way. I mean, like, this is not working. So I see these codex signs, whatever they mean, they actually have real meaning, and whatever. I think just so time and space and file names are correct. I know my family member is Nikki, or Nicholas was the name that he used at the fashion show when we took the photo, but the Smithsonian fashion show, at Millridge, and the name given in the same year that the Glen was sold, and we had to move to the city of New York. When I had problems with St. John's, that year, I got a visit from somebody by the name of Alec, ALEC. That's the name or the family name or the code name or the whatever that whoever visited gave me, for the same year in my file, since we have a very tight-knit way of explaining who my same visitors are, but coding the file with names given in that specific period of time. Or at least that's how I choose to look at it at the moment. Just because it's easier knowing that it was in a date and file range if we're in some form of codex time machine and things have gone on, and I don't know if they get every update of things that have gone on or how that part works. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.